When I was fully immersed actually in the everyday life and career, and it was very, very fascinating, but still it took almost like, I would say the full circle of really arriving took a year. So I've been working from Jamaica for Talent or.
Hello and welcome to 20 Minutes Abroad, the podcast where we talk about different cultures from different countries. Today we are going to talk about living and working in Ethiopia and Jamaica and what it is like to feel home in a different country. We will answer this question and more right after the intro. My guest today is Gertraud. She is originally from Austria, but has moved around quite a lot and has a big fascination with other countries. The first question I have for you today is, what do you think is something unique about the Ethiopian culture?
Thank you, Miriam, for being here and for being even able to share this part of my life when I lived in Ethiopia. So I think what is very unique is that we have this outside perspective of Ethiopia as being a very poor and struggling country. And actually the country is so much more. It has, one of the oldest histories. They're living Muslim and Christian traditions really right along. So it is a very unique country. They have an own time, an own calendar, their own writing, their own language. They've never been colonialized. So it's a very fascinating place in Africa. And I feel the most unique part about Ethiopia is the people and the they are actually open and kind, and they at some point there is also, I've experienced really a community there where people are looking after each other. The country has gone through a very challenging time in the recent years. But once you've been there, you really feel a very magic in the air. They rest a lot in their everyday life, like they have coffee ceremonies everywhere, and they just sit down and have 10 minutes, a coffee chat where they connect, where they share, and different parts actually in their everyday life that I've been really learning and also at the beginning messing up. But they share food, they really live moments, they live holidays really, like 2 days of Christmas is like a big holiday and everyone loves it. So I think it's a very fascinating country to explore and to still also very not so commercialized in terms of the places.
That sounds really interesting. I didn't even know that they have, for example, their own calendar. That's completely new to me, so that's really cool. Thank you for your first answer. We are going to jump into aspects of that just in a second. But for our second question, you can pick your second question yourself. So we have a few cards printed out here. You can just pick any one you like. And there's a number on it.
Number 6.
Number 6. Thank you. When you travel, do you take on the city by yourself, or get a tour guide, or jump on a hop-on, hop-off bus?
Okay. Number 1, 100%. Usually with an ancient lonely planet, like an analog lonely planet, and then I'm exploring coffee places and farmers markets and restaurants, and I love to really get the vibe of a city and talk to locals and find hidden local spots that only they recommend. I really love that, and I don't mind if I even miss out on big sites.
Well, that sounds really nice, and also it sounds like a way to experience a lot of things others don't.
Really cool.
Yeah. Okay, then let's talk about your life in Ethiopia for a bit. When you got the opportunity to move there, were you like, let's go, or did you hesitate for a bit?
It was one of the hardest decisions in my life. My husband got a job offer to move to Ethiopia, so it was really the decision follow, not follow. But the decision to follow and to leave my comfort zone here in Austria and my job and the life you have, it was very, very challenging for me. And it took actually very long for me to realize, although I very fast found a leadership role, even in Ethiopia. I was leading an HR consultancy. I was leading 30 Ethiopians. So very soon I had a job and I was fully immersed actually in the everyday life and career. And it was very, very fascinating, but still it took almost like, I would say the full circle of really arriving took a year. And then I was fully, then I loved the country so much, I didn't want to leave anymore. Yeah. So the time then when we left, I cried a lot and I didn't want to leave because I was so connected to the people, to the culture, to the also to my job, to the industry. And yeah, I just really loved the life that I've built there.
Oh, that's really nice that you felt, I guess you could call it a second home.
Yeah, at that time I was really home in Ethiopia actually. We were flying there and it was really like, oh, we're home again. And you have your friends for barbecue, you have your, I don't know, we were going mountain biking to the hills. We were traveling the region, so we were showing our friends who visited the country. We had, you really find a way to get very connected in the city. I had very close friends that are still still my friends. So you always keep that bond actually. And even now I have friends who even came to our wedding. So it was a very, I don't know, very very fascinating time actually to build our lives there and be also very connected to the people. So we were not only in the expat bubble, and we really had people that were also connecting us to Ethiopia and also showed us all the sites and really let us understand also the culture, their history, what divides them, what unites them. So
no, that's really nice, because I think Ethiopia is not a big touristy country. Or what would you say about that?
That's very, very difficult because they had a war 2 years ago. So before that, and I was in Ethiopia before that actually, it was quite a tourist country already because you could travel everywhere very safe. And the time when we were there, it started that it wasn't safe to travel everywhere anymore. So we were really learning how to live in a politically unstable environment and to not feel safe all the time. And that was very hard also as an Austrian, where you're always feeling safe. It's really very challenging. But then you have really your local friends who kind of also let you understand and kind of you create then you're working with all uncertainties and so I think now it's really picking up again, but it's still I think now it's still just very slowly that people are coming back and trusting again, because of course it's you want to feel safe as a tourist, of course.
Yeah. So when you arrived there, what were your first few days like? What were your first impressions? What were your first feelings you had there?
When I arrived, I was coming actually together with my father, and we had my bike and all the luggage and everything. And first, I felt very, overwhelmed, because it's a very messy city and so many impressions, and you see so many, it's not so organized in a way. So I think I was really struggling at the beginning also to see my future there. But the minute we went to the mountains, which are around the city, I felt calmer and more peaceful. And it's okay, I'm a mountain girl. I belong. Kind of there are mountains, so you will just feel home there, and you will make it there. So that really helped me a lot. But at the beginning, it's been a very much roller coaster, especially the first time I didn't have a job, the first 1 month, 2 months, and you really wake up and you're okay, now what is your purpose? What do you do here? And you really start to build your life from scratch. You don't have friends, you don't know anything, so you really explore everything, and it takes, I think, a lot of energy. But when you've gone through that process, then after a while you really adapt and you adjust and you get your routines also back.
Yeah, because I think the culture there is a lot different than our culture. So I can imagine that it was a bit hard in the beginning.
Of course, because everything is different. It's really everything, how you move there, how you buy your food, everything is just, it's so many different aspects that you are exploring.
Yeah. So that sounds really interesting, all the aspects we've talked for now. But let's take a little break before we start into the second topic area and play a little game. So
very good.
We're going to play a little guessing game. We are going to get 3 questions, and we have 2 boards next to us where we write down the answers on the back of it. And then I will count to 3, and we are going to show the camera, and whoever is closest gets a point.
Okay. On this one?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's some chart also.
What's the aerial distance between Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, and Kingston, Jamaica's capital?
In kilometers.
I don't have any feeling for how far that is.
Me too. I don't know actually. Maybe it's much longer.
I would. Yeah, sure. Ready? So I guessed 11,000, yeah. And you guess?
I have 150,000, so very far.
I have no idea. It's probably more than 11,000.
12,329.99 kilometers.
Oh, really?
You're much.
I imagined that it would
I
be
don't
way
have
more.
any feeling for numbers. This
Yeah.
is not a true.
Yeah, I don't either, so it's mostly just luck.
The Blue Mountain Peak is the highest mountain in Jamaica. How high is it?
I was on it, but
I have no idea.
I was climbing it, but still it's a guess.
Okay. I guessed 3,000, and you guessed?
I have 2,300.
This
2,256 meters.
Ooh,
Wow.
yeah,
was
yeah.
really
Yeah, I
close.
knew that it's not so high. Yeah.
So now we're even. We have to take the 3rd question.
On a global scale, how many % of employees on international assignments are female?
On the whole world. Phew.
Yeah.
I'm guessing 15. What do you guess?
I have 25.
14%.
That's really not a lot. Woohoo! I didn't think I was good at
Different.
guessing, but for
Yeah.
some reason I am.
There is different
Nice.
data, but definitely it needs to be more.
Yeah,
So-
it definitely needs to be more. Thank you for playing. And let's start into our second topic area. So you already told me before that you felt really at home in Ethiopia, and then you decided to move on to Jamaica. So what was the moment when you decided it was the right time to leave again?
Yeah, also here, because as I've said before, my husband was on different assignments, so it was actually then the decision, okay, where to go or what is the next destination for or like the next career step. And then Jamaica, the offer came, and that time actually we were very, we were really looking forward to living in another country. We could not, that time we really couldn't picture ourselves immediately to go back to Austria. So it was really, it was a very cool time. But then also it was very hard for me to leave Ethiopia because I was leading the team there and I was very connected, as I said. And then actually I gave myself a big gift. I was 1 month really not working and giving, like saying goodbye and still traveling and going for coffee and just really leaning into this artist's life and meeting all the friends. So I gave myself a lot of time for the farewell, and I think that was very, very beautiful for the transition. And then also I had some months in between where I was in Austria, and I could also here prepare and have time with my family. So it was I think it was a very, not a very rushed farewell and a very rushed transition. It was more a bit on the slower side to really take time to process the different chapters.
But it's also really nice that you had the chance to give yourself the time to say goodbye to everything that was there for you. So when you went from Ethiopia to Jamaica, were there any challenges you faced, or what were the challenges for you?
Yeah, I think for me the biggest challenge was again to wake up then in Kingston and to think, okay, now I don't have a job, and so what is, because I had a local job, so now I'm again searching for a job. Should I go into a local job? But it was also a big transition time in my life, because it was the first time that I thought, okay, can I work remotely, or can I have a portable job? It was 2017, so no one was working remotely at that time. And this was really the time when I decided against the local job, but to mix it and to start my own coaching business, because I did a lot of coaching and training for my own personal development at that time. And also to go back to my Austrian employer. I'm still with them. It's a big global recruiting company, Talentdoor. And so I've been working from Jamaica for Talentdoor. And I could really mix actually the different roles. So I had a remote, really, really cool job. And also I was also working with a local consultancy in Jamaica. So I was kind of like finding this lifestyle that I'm still living of self-employment and also being part of an organization, a global organization. And I think that was really good to have this transition again and to decide, okay, what does it look like now? It's also a big chance actually that you can create your work chapter the way you want. So you don't have to be only focused, okay, only a local role or only this. So you can really create it again.
It sounds like a really good combination of the two aspects. So, and how was the Jamaican life for you compared to the Ethiopian? So did you notice big differences, or how was life for you there?
Yeah, what's interesting is that the two countries have a really strong history connection actually. So
Really?
The Rasta in Jamaica, they feel actually that their home is Ethiopia. So we had this perception that it's there will be this strong connection from everyone. But yeah, we noticed that it's not, it was more irritating for the Rasta why we left Ethiopia. So there wasn't this strong connection. But what was so different in Jamaica was that I couldn't move everywhere safely again anymore. Actually, that was the first time that I really knew the areas where we can be safe, and in some areas you're just not going there. So that was the first time I learned. Like Jamaica is a very diverse society. You have very proud people. So to connect there as a leader is much more difficult. And I would say if you are very successful in Jamaica as a leader, you can lead anywhere in the world because you will feel resistance and a resistance also to immediately go for your ideas. So you really, again, need to connect really to the local culture. But I feel it's very fascinating because you find this mix of very confident people, very communicative people. Of course, you live in a country that have as first language English, so you're always really below in terms of your communication skills. So you're like, okay, wow, my English is not so good as I actually thought. And but then also there is this vibe and this beat on the island, like it's it's really the most famous musicians like Bob Marley are from this island, and they really have this rich heritage, and they're really living that heritage. So in the supermarket, people are singing the songs of Bob Marley, and you're like, really? And they really like, it's a very uplifted society actually. And yeah, it's fascinating actually to see this pride in the people, and then also this vibe on the island, the music, also this really big resilience. So we were there in the first lockdown still, and we were scared like from Europe, but their people, they were used to challenges, so they were so much more resilient, so incomparable. Also, they didn't have money to stock on toilet paper, so they were more like, let's see how it goes and let's work with it. And this really, I think, also shaped my way even to see challenges.
Okay, thank you for being here today. Your answers were really nice, and I really enjoyed talking to you. Before we wrap up the video, we have a few stickers right beside you that you can put on our suitcase here.
Cool. If I can remove.
That's always the same. We should really start prepping these.
I put Ethiopia here, and if you want to taste actually Ethiopian food, there is a wonderful restaurant in Graz.
Really?
The owner is Sarah, and she's a wonderful woman and a friend now. And whenever we want to travel to Ethiopia, so we go to her. Yeah,
hey, that's really nice.
She was even at our wedding and doing a coffee ceremony for us. So she's really.
So has she also lived there, or is she from there?
She's from Ethiopia. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I think an Ethiopian restaurant can only work with Ethiopian people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've also heard.
Like, no one else can do that.
Yeah.
Food is really, it's the connector of all the cultures.
Yeah,
so the minute you love the food and you understand the food, it's really important actually. It's a big piece of connection as well.
Nice. So thank you, Gertraud, for being here today. It was really nice to talk to you. And also thank you to our listeners. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment if you have something to say. And if you liked this episode, subscribe to our channel for more videos like these. We see you in our next video.